Like overcrowding plagues Colombia's prison system, and a prison fire in January has raised further concerns. The fire broke out when inmates clashed with guards at a jail along the country's Caribbean coast. 10 prisoners were killed and dozens injured. CCTV's Michelle Begue reports from Bogotá on Colombia's search for answers.
Professor Miguel Ángel Beltrán spent 2 years in a Colombian prison before being acquitted of charges that he belonged to an insurgent group. While he awaited his trial in a maximum security facility, he learned firsthand about the country's problem-plagued prisons.
Prisons in Colombia are inhumane, where anyone who enters becomes dehumanized.
Colombia's prisons have come under scrutiny recently for their overcrowding. Officials say there are more than 120,000 inmates in jails designed to hold just 76,000. The lack of space and security risks make it difficult to carry out programs for rehabilitation and re-entry to society, the stated goal of the Colombian National Penitentiary and Prison Institute.
There isn't enough personnel, funding, nor security, so prisons have instead become a place for vices. Many drugs are consumed, and this frequently leads to addiction. There is also a lot of corruption amongst the guards that helps the internal trafficking of drugs.
To combat overcrowding, a new penal code reform law is allowing the early release of prison inmates convicted of minor crimes. They would be allowed to serve the rest of their sentences under house arrest. At least 1,600 police law since January, and it's estimated that up to 9,000 prison inmates could see such release in the next coming months. Authorities say this program, along with building more prisons, is necessary. But human rights lawyer Franklin Castañeda says they're both losing propositions and can't keep up with the 3,000 new inmates coming into the system each month.
Colombia now needs 50,000 more spaces in prisons. The country must build a new prison each month to house the amount of people being arrested every month.
Castañeda points to statistics that indicate arrests for minor crimes don't always prove to be a deterrent. For example, in 2013, the National Police arrested more people than ever for stealing cell phones, but the number of stolen cell phones was at an all-time high, too.
We have to ask ourselves, does Colombia want to spend all its resources on prisons that for all intents and purposes do not accomplish reintegration nor provide education? On the contrary, this is inflicting more damage to families and inmates and is producing more criminals because in Colombia, prisons are the schools of criminals.
It is unclear whether Colombia's strategy will change anytime soon. Its incarceration rate has more than doubled over the past 20 years, from an average of 90 prisoners per 100,000 people in the 1990s to 243 today, ranking it among the top 55 countries with the highest incarceration rates. Michelle Begue, CCTV, Bogotá, Colombia.